dado joint is a nice, strong, simple joint. And I thought today, let's go over how do you make one. So first of all, what do you need? You need a table saw, a sled, some sort of stop block, and you need either a marking gauge or calipers, and a pencil. So a locked dado joint is a nifty little joint that locks into each other. So you have rabbit and a dado, and then one fits into the other, and you can glue and you have a nice strong joint. First off, let's find the midpoint of the wood. Now you can either use the calipers, so 0.48 would mean that we would do 0.24, and we would have our half point. I really prefer the marking gauge. With the marking gauge, try to find about the half point, tighten, make a mark, turn around, see if you were at the middle point. It's pretty good. Now let's start with the shortest piece here. I'm gonna mark it. Do on the sides too. And don't forget the little areas right here. Fill this in with a pencil so we can see. Now, for the dado piece, we need inset dados, okay? So we're gonna start with doing the same marking, using the same. And I like the idea of making sure you mark it on these sides as well, because that's where you'll use to line up the blade later. So you wanna make sure you don't miss any of that. Now, take your piece of wood. We need to mark the next section based on the thickness of the wood. Put that one next to it. I'll make a mark right there. Okay, turn it around. Line up. Make a mark right there. We'll fill in the other piece too. Now we know this is what we need to remove. And I like to mark out sides here too. You only really need to mark out one of each of these. If you're cutting a lot of pieces, then you'll set it up on the saw later and then you can use your stop blocks. So you won't need any more marks, but you need to get your first marks just right. Now when the wood is marked, first step is to set the height of the blade. Okay, that looks good. Okay. Now we're not going to touch the height of the blade anymore. This is what we're going to use for all of our cuts. Next step is setting our stop blocks. To make this cut, you really want to use a sled. Cross-cut sled right here. Okay, I need to position this now so the tip of the blade reaches right there. I have one of these magnetic stop blocks here, which I really like. However, if you don't, you can just connect anything to your fence. So what I'm gonna do, I found the perfect spot. And I put this right there. And I'm gonna move my fence in. Of course, when you lock your fence, and sometimes it moves just a little bit, so you just have to kind of play with it. So you get it just right. I like to just check on both of my sides. So now when I have my position here, I have my fence locked in. I can move this so it's farther down. So obviously I don't want to put this too close to the blade. So I put it down here. I lock it in place. And now I can use this as a point to butt up the wood against and do my cut. So obviously the height of this is important because that's how high this is going to be, which ideally should be half. Let's make our cut. Now you can just repeat this using the stop block for all the pieces that are of this this length, that is to be the rabbet side. Okay, so I got my 2 pieces cut up for the rabbet side. Let's move on to the dado side. So now we need to set up our stop blocks again. And it's different because now we don't want to cut on the edge. Now we want to cut on the inside. So to set the parameters here, we're going to need 2 stop blocks. We'll start with setting this boundary. I'm going to do the one furthest in. So we'll mark it out where it's going to go. Okay, now when the fence is locked, I can move this so it's further down. Now I don't even need the fence here anymore. Now we can actually move this away. Okay, so we got our 1 boundary set. This sled right here has a stop block, otherwise you can just clamp something. So now let's find, that's the one there, let's find this one. So now we're looking to go all the way to the edge there. So now in between this stop block and this stop block, I have a small little area, and this is what I need to cut. So I can do my cut, and I move this way and do my cut. And then switch it around, do this, and repeat with however many of these pieces that you have to cut. We have our dado part and we have our rabbet part, and if you have done it right, one will fit into the other just so. Now I like this joint because if you're working with wood of this thickness at least, you don't have to put on a dado blade. You can just use a regular blade. It's a very strong joint once glued on, but it's not very complicated. One piece fits into the other. And it's all about, making your marks correctly and then setting up your stop blocks correctly. So, and while it's nice if these are nice and tight, once you glue them together, they're going to be just fine. So even if you have a little bit of wiggle room on some of them, that's not a problem. But this is looking good. Of course, once you have set everything up, it's really quick to do a whole bunch of pieces. So if you're cutting a whole bunch of drawers or something, it's really just the initial setup, like with all things with woodworking, right? That takes a long time. Now I have my log dados cut, I have my log dado joints cut, and I have my groove for the bottom. So we are all set to assemble this, which is going to be a tray. Dry fit, looks good. It's always nice when you are adding a bottom because it stiffens everything up so much and gets the corners all square and everything too. So I'm adding a little bit of glue on the sides of the bottom, but more glue on the actual joint. If you're using this joint for a drawer, you do want to be mindful that you orient it so that the area that you pull towards is not the one that can come off. So in this case, you would want to have the rabbet part be the front part of the drawer, because it's kind of locked in, hence the locked dado joint. Okay, my tray, block dado joints, all glued up with the bottom inside. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. Go and make yourself a lock dado joint. My name is Linn. This is the Darbin Orvar channel. I'll see you soon.